Hi.
This is new, right?
This is very new.
This is new. You're seeing our beautiful faces. You can finally see how sexy we are. You're welcome.
You're welcome.
You're so very welcome.
Welcome to the first episode of the second season of the Watch That Jawn Podcast. We're all the way out here in Oklahoma, so in person.
It's kind of weird. It's called the Watch That Jawn Podcast, but we're in Oklahoma.
Well, because our hearts and
It's still
DNA
Philly Dilly.
is established.
I mean, I'm still Philly Dilly. I don't know about you.
First off,
you a country boy.
You do not live in Philadelphia.
I live 10 minutes outside of Philly. Don't play with me.
10 minutes outside of Philly is like saying someone from Bristol is from Philly.
No, it's not.
Yes, it
it's
is.
absolutely not.
Bristol is 10 minutes outside of Philly. You're a Bristol.
Anyway, yes, we are in Oklahoma, and James is. Do you want people to know this your home?
This is my house. Yeah, you know
All
this
right,
is my house.
people
Look
might
at this
run
brick.
up.
Look at this fireplace. I work hard for this.
Well, all right, yeah, we're in James's lovely home. We actually came because today is our producer's birthday.
Hey, the real DQ.
Big ups to the boy.
Big ups to the man turning 32. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So,
It's dope.
yeah. So today we will be reviewing Challengers, which literally came out yesterday.
It came out yesterday. We was in the movies, and it was.
Tell them what theater we were at.
We was at the Warren Theater.
It's
and
this very cute theater. It's a Regal Cinema, right?
It is.
It's giving Art Deco. Am I using that right? It's very 20s. Think of like The Great Gatsby. Like everything is so cute. They have like these really cute like carpets with different patterns and like how everything's just really cute. It's a really cute theater.
Yeah, it's a really nice theater.
Yeah.
It's affordable. Yeah, no, we watched a bunch of movies there. We watched a Barbie movie there.
Oh.
We watched the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 there.
Okay.
So no, that's one of our favorite
Now,
movie
I
theaters.
stayed with. Let's not talk about Regal too much because they ain't giving us no coins. But I do stay with Regal. I do
Yes.
stay with Regal.
Me too.
You know.
Me too.
But yeah, we saw Challengers on the day it came out.
Yep.
And I wanted to see it because, as you know, I do enjoy tennis.
That's your favorite sport.
It is my favorite sport by far. I always tell people, I'm like, tennis is just addictive. I feel like even if I'm playing badly, I still want to keep going.
Yeah, no, tennis is, you need a lot of athleticism to play tennis, right? It's hand-eye coordination, it's endurance, you need the power to actually drive the ball, but you also need the technique and accuracy to knock it over the fence, you know, when you're playing.
So many times in games, you end up beating your own self.
Yes,
So I
errors.
understand why people break their freaking rackets.
Exactly, because errors.
Yeah. So talking about tennis, before we get into it, I wanted to play a little game.
Okay, Jigsaw, let's go.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say some tennis terms, and you tell me what they are.
Okay.
Testing your tennis knowledge. We played enough Mario Tennis growing up.
That's the basis of it, yes.
Okay. So tell me what a forehand is.
A forehand is when you hit the ball like this.
Good enough. Okay. I mean,
You hit the ball with the front of your hand. It's open hand, boom.
open hands. Okay. I mean, they said the stroke used to return balls to hit to the right side of a right-handed player or to the left side of a left-handed player.
Yes. that
Forehands
means-
are commonly hit one-handed. So, yeah, what you're saying makes
boom,
sense.
Boom.
Yeah.
It's more straightforward.
Okay. Tell me what a game is. Like, what constitutes a game?
A game is when a player gets to 60 points, which is really
60
15,
points.
30, 40, 60. They're really 4 points, right? The first player.
Why are you saying 60?
Because it's 60, it will be the next. 15, 30, 40, and then 60.
That doesn't make any sense.
It does.
No, it doesn't. Why would it be 60 if they start in increments of 15, then they
But
went to 10?
They don't start in increments of 15.
They go 15, 30, and then 40.
15, 30, 40. I don't know. I always thought it was 60.
60, no one says, you know this. Don't play with me, James.
always thought
No
it was
one says,
60.
why? It's like you said, 15, 30, and 40 game.
But why
You
would
don't
it
get
go-
that, 'cause you
but
just
why-
said some
No,
dumb
I
shit.
said it's 4. I was counting. You need 4 points to win a game, and that's your service.
Why would it be 60? Why not 50?
Whatever. Anyway, you need to win 4 times. We're getting that.
You just pulled that out your ass.
No.
I'm really trying to figure out where'd you get 60 from.
I remember seeing 60s, probably from
There
Mario
was
Tennis.
no 60 in tennis.
Yes,
And you know this. Stop playing with me. Next question. You got me mad. What is the lob?
When you hit the ball really high in the air.
Okay, good enough. It said a stroke that lifts the ball high in the air, usually over the head of the opponent at the net. Okay? Okay, question. This is something. So when you're playing singles tennis, right?
Yeah.
Do you know what the alleys of a tennis court is? Well, no, I'm a two question. When you're playing single tennis, is hitting the ball in the alley of the court in or out?
I know it changes between singles and doubles. I think it's out when it's singles and in when it's doubles because you just need more room.
That's true.
Okay.
That's correct. Okay?
Yeah, sucker under my tennis.
No, because you said 60. Literally, that was crazy.
It's arbitrary numbers. It could be 60.
It's not 60. They never. And you said you ain't said you need no fucking 60. Don't get on my nerves. Okay. What is ad?
What?
Ad. I ain't telling you.
Advantage?
Yeah. What does that mean?
That means that when you're playing a game and you get tied at 40, it's called a deuce. And when you get the person who scores after the deuce gets us an advantage. You
Okay.
have to score one more point to win the game.
There you go. There you go. Okay, last term. What is an ace?
I don't know. I think an ace is when I just score off a serve.
Yeah, pretty much. An ace is when, you serve it so well the opponent cannot return it.
Okay.
All right.
I always try to get smash aces in Mario Tennis. I never knew how to do it.
I would congratulate you, but you know why I'm not giving you props for what you said.
Because you're a hater. That's
No, that was crazy. That was crazy. But all right, let's get into the movie. So this movie is directed by,
Give me a second.
hope I say his name right.
Justice thing.
You good?
It keeps falling on me.
Okay.
Gravity. Okay.
This movie is directed by Luca Guadagnino.
That's a name.
Very Italian. And I tried to find director interviews with this man. I didn't see many. I don't think his English is too good, so maybe he does a lot of interviews in Italian. So, because I couldn't find a lot of interviews with him. Or maybe he just didn't do them. I don't know. But he also made this movie called Bones and All. Have you seen this movie?
No, I have not. Bones and All.
It's with Timothy Chalamet.
Okay.
So
Is that Chalamet a god? Who's Timothy Chalamet?
He just asked me if Timothy Chalamet is Charlemagne the God.
I don't know. It sounds like his name.
Timothy Chalamet is Charlemagne the God, James?
I don't know. Who's Timothy Chalamet?
Google Timothy Chalamet and tell me if he looks anything like Charlemagne the God.
I can't even spell his name, but continue.
You really pissing me off today. Do you know who plays in Dune? The little white boy in Dune.
No, I never seen Dune.
Yeah, anyway. Timothy, yeah. So pretty much the movie is about these cannibals. They're cannibal people. It's really weird, but I did like it. So yeah. But
So it's the same director.
it's the same director, and we know that Zendaya's in the film.
Yep.
Zendaya, literally, I have not seen anything she's in
Zendaya's
that's
in
bad.
Challengers, not Eat the People, right?
Yeah, she's in Challengers. She's in
Okay.
Challengers.
Okay.
And, she's just really raking in her coins because Dune had just came out. The second adaptation of Dune is out. Euphoria is, I'm assuming the third season's coming out relatively soon.
What? I thought Euphoria was done.
Oh, why would it be done?
Euphoria is not done?
Why would it be done?
I thought that was the conclusion. That was a phenomenal episode.
No,
You sure?
there's still so much there's a whole, the last season
you
of
sure?
Euphoria.
Don't
She
get my hopes
literally
up.
has so much drugs to give back to that woman that lent her the drugs to sell and she did not sell them. Euphoria is not over.
Is there really a season 3?
Well, I don't know because Fezco died, right?
Is this? Yeah, I know Fezco died.
So maybe, I don't know. And Barbie Ferreira, no, not Barbie Ferreira. No, I think that is her name, Barbie
Oh,
Ferreira.
they said
She left.
They said that HBO confirmed that season 3 had been delayed.
Yeah, I think the writer's strike stopped a lot of things too. Same thing with this movie. This movie was supposed to come out in September of last year, but the writer's strike pushed back Challengers.
Okay.
But yeah, Euphoria. Zendaya literally can't do any wrong in my eyes. And at first I didn't want to see this movie because I thought it was going to be a tennis Euphoria. I thought it was just going to be gratuitous sex scenes. I thought at first I was like, is this another Sam Levinson project. He directed Euphoria.
Okay.
I think Sam Levinson directed The Idol too. Remember that terrible show with The Weeknd? Have you watched it? If you haven't, good for you.
No, I have not.
Okay, never watch it. It's so freaking boring. But I thought it was going to be that. So I'm glad that Sam Levinson isn't the director of this. And yeah, so, and we also know that, well, just to run off the cast list, what's his name?
Which one? You have
So Josh O'Connor plays this Patrick
Zwig.
Zwig,
Yep.
Zweig, I don't know.
Zwig. And then
And Mike Feist is Art Donaldson.
Yep,
And
yep.
Zendaya is Tashi Duncan.
yes.
So I think it'll be easier if we just like go through the main points of the plot.
Yep. Because basically, the main point of the plot is
Well, I mean like the main points, like each point of the plot, and then we talk about it. Like a brief rundown of like what happens.
so not an overall synopsis.
No,
just-
like a brief rundown of every part that happens in the movie. And then
That's kind of hard to remember.
I have it right here.
Okay.
Yeah. So the movie first starts off pretty much with Tashi and Art together. And we can see that they are married. And we know that Tashi is Art's
Coach.
coach.
And they play tennis.
No, that actually isn't how the movie starts. The movie starts, and I think that says a lot. The movie starts with Art and Patrick. So Art and Patrick are, no, I was right. Anyway, yeah. So we know that.
You see, you're struggling. Let's just talk about the main points because the movie goes back and forth in time, and that's why it's hard to try to correlate.
Yeah.
What happened, right? So. Okay.
That's the very beginning. Okay, so in the very beginning, it starts off with Art, and so and I think that's actually really, that says something, that the movie begins with Patrick and with Art.
Yep. So Patrick and Art are in high school, about to go to college. They're playing in the Juniors U.S. Opens doubles tournament, and the tournament is getting pretty. It's the finals, the round that they're in, and they win. And when
Afterwards, they meet Tashi.
Yep, but they win. But they celebrated very happily, and it was.
You could tell they're
kinda telling.
close.
Yeah, you could tell that they're
You
very
could tell
close.
they're very close, and that's one thing that I like about this movie. It is a love triangle, but the love between Patrick and Art is really strong.
Yep, I agree.
And I think that is a really nice point of the film. But yes, you're right. So they win the junior doubles title at the U.S. Open.
Yes,
And then they meet Tashi.
Yep, they see Tashi's match,
And
Tashi Duncan is playing. I'm not exactly sure who she's playing. She's
Yeah.
not really an important character,
but I want to talk about when she. Well, one thing that this movie wants you to know is that Tashi Duncan has a great ass. Because actually, no, I think the first time we see Tashi is, like I said before, when she's married to Art. She comes out of the bathroom in this little sexy lingerie set, and she's putting on lotion or something. You can see her wedding band, and the first thing you see is that ass. And when Art and Patrick meets Tashi, she walks in. She's wearing this white Adidas tennis dress. The wind blows. You can see a little bit of her ass, and they're just there like, this movie wants you to know that she got a great ass. But yeah, Tashi just kind of floats onto the court, and she's the darling of the tennis court.
yeah, she is of the junior tennis tournament, and she eats. They do really good focused, basically close ups of her. Just all you see is Zendaya's character Tashi, right? Just
That makes
smacking the
sense.
ball back and forth.
You know,
in
they're
dominant
not
fashion.
gonna. You know, this movie is about tennis, but it's not a tennis movie. It's not. Have you ever seen that movie Battle of the Sexes?
No.
That's a good movie. Let me not even get to line to say what it's about, but that's a good movie. But this movie is about tennis, but it's not the main focus. And the actors, well, actually, come to find out, Mike Feist, the person who plays Art, is actually a tennis player. But everyone else, you know, they had to work out and do a whole bunch of.
Well, he taught himself tennis for the role.
Well, no, Art played tennis before the role, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, Mike face played tennis before the role. Okay. Everyone else, he had to work out too. He had to get in shape, but everyone else, I think it was fairly new to them. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
And you could tell that on the screen. He seemed like the most natural player. They also showed.
It's weird. He didn't seem like that to me. It seemed like it. Maybe I'm not remembering correctly, but to me, I was surprised that Art was the tennis player. Well, that Mike was the tennis player and not Josh, but I guess how the way they framed the movie always as Patrick being the better tennis player is why I believe that Josh was a tennis player and not Mike, if that makes sense. But
I don't know.
Yeah.
Watching Art play, it seemed like he was about it. Even when he played younger, it seemed pretty natural. Whenever they showed Zendaya play, they always did
They have to zoom in close because, like I said, she's not a tennis player.
Yes,
she's not a tennis player, so they have to make certain cuts and edits.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
But I don't think it hurt. I think it still got the.
No, she still looked like a beast. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But anyway, she wins this championship, and they meet up at
an Adidas after party.
Yes, it's after party, and she was the main athlete in that party.
All eyes were on her.
All eyes was on her.
She wore this. I remember the dress she wore. This like, this sleeveless blue fit and flare dress, and she was mesmerizing. Like she said that Zendaya said that she also brought in her own makeup team, and I think it was great. Like Tashi looked incredible. How the way they did her makeup just really much highlighted that she is a natural beauty.
Yeah.
So they meet at the Adidas party, and they're both trying to shoot their shot.
They are, because.
Have you ever been in a situation like that where you and your best friend like the same girl?
No, not really. But no, I haven't.
Never.
Never. No.
I've been in situations like that, but it was never. I liked how they were openly admitting that they both like her, and at first it didn't seem like much of a competition. It kind of just seemed like a competition, but it wasn't something where it's like
they were mostly trying to just get her attention.
Yeah, but it didn't. Zendaya said it in an interview. She said, when you meet them as kids, it's very pure. No one's jaded.
Yeah.
They just seemed like kids. And it wasn't just kind of like, oh, I'm going to get her, and I hate you that you like her too. Just kind of like, hey, if you get her, you get her. If you don't, I can get her. There was no sort of like malice there, you know? But we are going to take a short break, and we'll be right back.
I'm a good-looking rapper, I ain't trying to stunt. I'm a good-looking rapper, I ain't lying. I'm a good-looking rapper, I ain't trying to stunt. I'm a good-looking rapper, I ain't lying. 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 I'm a good-looking rapper, I'm a good.
And we are back. So where did we leave off? We left off with the beginning of where Tashi, Art, and Patrick meet each other. I want to talk about the beach conversation they had.
Okay.
Because I feel like this really sets the tone with how Tashi thinks about both of the boys.
Yeah, so the beach conversation happens when, after the party, Art and Patrick, they decide, hey, let's go home. We can catch up with her later. But they quickly change their mind and wait for her to kind of finish. And they invite her down to the beach to go smoke. So they walk past.
Which is it's always insane to me when like athletes, like pro athletes, smoke.
Yeah, it's a stress reliever.
I've never smoked before, so that's probably why I don't understand it. Because I'm like, I can't even eat hot Cheetos and do a workout.
No.
I can't imagine smoking and then going to work out.
No, it sounds kind of crazy. But I don't think they do it before the matches, but it's a stress relief. But anyway, your beach.
Huh?
The beach.
Oh, I thought you said capiche. I was like, okay. So, so they're all at the beach talking, and you can see that Tashi is kind of turned off by the things that that Pat is saying to her. Because Pat asks her pretty much, why are you going to Stanford? You're good enough to go pro.
Yeah.
And with Tashi, she says something along the lines of,
she wants a backup plan.
She wants a backup plan. She wants to be good at something other than just hitting a ball with a racket.
Yep,
She's like,
exactly.
they offer classes too, right? And I was like, so does man. Like,
Also, she's going to Stanford.
she's going to fucking Stanford.
Like, come on, like this.
But it is Stanford. You're right. I will absolutely go because it is Stanford.
Yes.
But I'm like, when you're that good, if it were you, if you were a pro athlete, you literally, would you still invest in your education? I feel like I would do it afterwards. I will take financial literacy and maybe a few things, but I feel like I will do that afterwards. Maybe when maybe when I retire, I'll go to school. Cause I'm like, I go to school for money.
Well, I guess.
And I like to learn, but.
Yeah, I guess, right? Because it depends. Because, Kobe and LeBron and the Shaq come out too before?
Shaq went to LSU. The
Shaq
White
went-
Howard came from high school.
Okay. So there's
They
has
said
been,
LeBron dropped out when he was in 3rd grade and then went back.
and went back to high school.
Went back to school, not even high school.
to school,
He
wow.
dropped out in 3rd grade.
Wow.
Yeah.
But no, I think if I was that good, if I was LeBron James good, I probably would go
Or
to the
Tashi
league
Duncan's good.
and get my bag. But tennis is different, right? Because tennis, even when you're quote unquote professional, you still have to be ranked in tiers. Versus the NBA, you come out, you get drafted, you're in a squad. Like if you make the team and that's it. You don't have to like start making moves. Like to start, you have to work your way up, but you compete
You need
against
sponsorships.
Yes, but you're competing against a dozen people. You know what I mean? I guess a dozen
And
people
every win and
versus-
every loss counts against you.
Exactly. And
Like your
individually.
USTA rating goes up and it goes down based on that.
Exactly. So I think the risk of being underprepared
Yeah.
coming out of high school for tennis is greater.
It's grander. It's
It is.
grander.
Because I feel like, moving forward in the movie, that's exactly what happened to Patrick, right?
That is. And Patrick, I actually have a line what he says. He says, hitting a ball with a racket is a great way to avoid having a job. And it's definitely a great way to avoid having to go to school. And Tashi doesn't like this. And like you said, that's exactly how his career panned out. He didn't have a plan B.
Yep.
Even though we know he comes from a prestigious family.
Yeah, they got money. I remember her walking around the grounds and she was like, I know your family's house is probably bigger than us. He was like, yeah, but...
Patrick said that?
Patrick said that, yeah.
Yeah.
They got money.
So what Tashi says to him, she says, see, that's your problem. You think you're like an artist or something. Your coach has been telling you you're a genius since he discovered you as a 13-year-old, and he's just been letting you do whatever you wanted since then.
Yeah.
And I think this really, like I said, it sets up where Tashi has kind of a more contemptuous, or maybe just like what's the word? She doesn't respect Patrick's game.
Yeah, and it's... We already talked about Shaq and Kobe, but I think it's that sort of mindset, right? Because Shaq, obviously, when he came out, he was a freak of nature. Like big, strong, dynamic,
Funny.
had good ball handles, funny. But
Rapper.
record shows that he wasn't a gym rat. He didn't work. Like he worked, obviously, right? But he wasn't a gym rat.
That's surprising to me because I hear him in interviews. He said his father was a military man, so he kind of was raised under like a drill sergeant his whole life. So it's surprising to me that you said that he didn't have the best work ethic.
Yes, but Kobe Bryant has
An inhuman work ethic.
human work ethic, right? Kobe would learn that people get to the gym and he would get there 2 hours before them just because. And I think there's a rare athlete that has both the natural talent, the God-given talent, and that drive. And in the movie, it was clear and obvious that Tashi had that. When I saw her, I was thinking, yo, man, she got the Mamba mentality.
Don't you kind of want that? It's like with Tashi. I want to be like Tashi, but at the same time, I don't want to be like Tashi. Like to be so passionate about something,
It takes
to really live for it. But it's also like to be that's all that you see your worth as. You let it consume you to a toxic level.
Yes, but to be honest with you, there's sacrifices for greatness. And it's not just sports, right? It's people in the medical field, right, who wants to be great. It's scientists, it's astronauts, it's, you need to sacrifice everything to be greatness. And that's why greatness is so rare and everyone can't do it, And I feel like even amongst the two boys, between Patrick and Art had the God-given talent, right? I mean, Patrick had a God-given talent. He was used to being the best, right? Whereas Art, he was good. He was always a very good player. He wasn't great, but he learned how to work and got better and he improved, you know?
Yeah. Remember the IMDb interview that we watched before? We watched it today.
Yep.
So there was an IMDb interview, guys, with Zendaya, Mike, and Josh. And Mike was talking about his character, Art. And he said something along the lines of, Art is the least talented tennis player out of the group.
Out of the group, yep.
And because of his insecurities, they're always in the driver's seat. Unconsciously, every decision he makes is fueled by those insecurities.
Yep.
And pretty much he's saying that he was drawn to Tashi, he was drawn to Pat because they had something that he didn't have, confidence.
Yeah.
And also kind of like this raw talent.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Art represents work hard, it pays off.
Exactly. Hard work plays off. Yep. Yep, exactly.
Pat represents you either got it or you don't. Tashi represents both of those things.
I think Pat more so represents squandered talent.
Yeah, but a lot of people, he squanders that talent because it's so natural to him.
Yes,
he thinks he can coast off his talent alone.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Right. I remember when, this is weird, but I remember in 7th grade, one of my science teachers, he told my mom during a after school, like, parent-teacher conference, that he was like, yeah, man, James is smart and he's really ahead of the class. But I'm afraid if it's too easy for him, he'll give up and stop trying. Right?
You were a lazy kid.
Yeah, I was. Right? Because like you said, if the stuff isn't challenging, it's not hard. You're like, why put the effort in? Why study? I didn't start studying until I got to Drexel, right?
Yeah.
Because like you said, if
I
it's
didn't
easy,
study to junior year.
or you be like,
I didn't know how to study.
Exactly.
Really until my sophomore year of college.
Exactly. I feel like I didn't become the student that I always could have been until the second to last year at Drexel. But then when I got to grad school, it was Kate.
Your junior year?
Right.
Oh, you were 5 years.
5 years.
I don't even know what that is.
No, it was
pre-junior year.
No, it was pre-junior. So junior year.
Oh,
and
pre-senior
senior
year. Yeah.
But yeah, no. So I like it's crazy the parallelisms we can take from these types of films and put it to our lives. It's because it's so true.
So let's go to the hotel room scene.
Oh, okay. So the hotel room scene.
That was the funniest scene in the movie to me.
Funny?
Yeah, because remember, they invite Tashi. Pat and Art invite Tashi back to the hotel room. She's like, I ain't going to come, or maybe I will. So that night, they're waiting up for God knows how long. And Pat's like, Art's like, she's not coming. And they're just kind of waiting. Then they hear a knock on the door, and they kind of freeze.
they freeze.
And they're like, then they hear it again. And they get up, they put on their clothes, they start cleaning up rapidly because Tashi's at the door.
Exactly.
And it's just kind of, I think that moment was very sweet. It's like, a girl's coming over. This place can't look a mess.
Exactly.
Like, we have to look like we're not complete slobs. So let's hurry up and clean up. So I thought that was very funny. And this is my favorite scene in the movie. I think Zendaya is mesmerizing in this scene.
Yeah, it's a very steamy scene too. So because first you don't know what's happening, right? You just know that Tashi comes to the room,
but you feel the tension.
You can feel the sexual tension building, and she's just talking to the guys, right?
But
she's asking them questions.
Yeah, but she really knows how to play a teenager so well.
Yeah,
just like how bubbly she is too.
Yeah, no, she had full control of the whole situation.
That is, and I wrote that about her. What did I say somewhere in my notes? I said,
what's your notes say, Mary?
I don't know, whatever. But she is just like, I think I wrote that she is sweet but dangerous. Like she comes in
like a Sour Patch Kid.
First she seems like a Sour Patch Kid, and I love Sour Patches. But first she comes in kind of like the girl next door, very she took her makeup off. She's she washed her hair, you can tell because it's curly, it's not straight anymore like it was at the Adidas party. She's in like her pajamas and she just comes over and she's very bubbly. She's sitting on the floor talking to them. And this is one thing that really also highlights Art and Pat's relationship. Remember when she asked them, she pretty much asked them like what's going on between them, like have they ever did anything sexual? And do you remember the story that Pat told what happened to him and Art when they were 12?
Yeah, they he woke up and
who woke up? The blonde woke up.
Yeah, so I guess
Art
woke up and saw Pat was jerking off, and he didn't know what he was doing. So Pat explained it to him and showed him how to do it.
Did you think the same thing I thought? Okay, he said, I showed him how to masturbate. And I'm like, did you think what I thought?
That he actually manually did it for him?
I'm like, did you show him on your dick or his dick? Yeah. That's the first thing I thought. The first thing I thought.
Exactly. I thought that too. And then he was like, oh, no, I kind of just showed him what to do.
Yeah.
Oh, whatever.
You and your bros never did that before?
No, because I'm not a weirdo.
I can see two girls doing that easily, honestly.
Yeah.
It's like the boundaries that girls, the boundary lines that girls can cross without being put into the gay or bisexual category is a lot farther than men can.
Yeah. It was weird, but I think there was like, if there were, I don't get too graphic, but I don't think it was super. It's a weird sort of thing that happens, and you probably never talk about it. But
it's embarrassing. I would never talk about that.
Yeah.
I would never tell anyone that my best friend taught me how to masturbate. Yeah. And they came to, what did she say? She was like, so did you guys finish together? He was like, yeah, in 2 separate beds. We finished together. We thought about the same girl, and we finished together. And I was like, that's a learning experience.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
But I think it's time for us to take a short break, guys. We'll be right back.
Hey guys, we're back.
Hi, welcome again.
Welcome again. Yeah, we had to take a little break yesterday because it's April in Oklahoma, and that means it's tornado season. So unfortunately, we had to go and take shelter. And really unfortunately, the storm actually ended up causing a loss of life in like 50 miles, a small town like 50 miles east of here. So thank God we're okay. It kind of dodged us, but that's kind of the risk of being in Oklahoma in the spring. So
that's why our clothes are different. It's a brand new day.
A brand new day, exactly.
And on a lighter note, we tried to, fit the tennis theme a little more this episode as well.
Yep.
So appreciate it.
And we can jump right back in.
Yeah.
So we stopped when we were talking about and being in a hotel room, and they're almost threesome.
So Tashi is pretty much saying she doesn't want to be a homewrecker.
Yes.
When it comes to the two of them. She automatically can tell that their relationship is more than friendly.
Yeah.
It's more than even just being best buds. They're definitely, we know it about the masturbation scene. That was like, I feel like they definitely have some sexual history, and that was kind of like the beginning of that. So what I like about Tashi and how Zendaya portrays Tashi is that Tashi's very confident.
Yep.
And she's devious.
She is devious.
She's really devious. So, like I said, I like her. This is my favorite scene in the movie. She, like I said, the boys were waiting for her to come. Art didn't think she was going to come. Pat was like, she's coming. And then, like I said, she knocked on the door and they all scrambled to like get dressed to make the room presentable for a lady.
Yep.
So Tashi comes in. She's 18 years old at this time. And Zendaya does a really good job of portraying an 18-year-old, She's sitting on the floor. They're talking. She's bubbly. She's smiling. She's laughing. Yep. She really is magnetic. I can get why they like her. But, she also knows that she holds power.
Yeah, she does.
That she has power. And that's what one thing that I'm thinking about Tashi. Do you know the term of a femme fatale?
No. A femme fatale?
A femme fatale. So that is a popular... what's the word? That's a popular sort of theatrical trope. So Wikipedia describes a femme fatale, sometimes called a man-eater, is a stock character of a mysterious, beautiful, and seductive woman who charms and snares her lovers, often leading them into compromising, deadly traps. So why I don't think, let me think of like known femme fatales. Known femme fatales that you would know of.
Oh, it's like feminine fatalities.
Exactly. But femme fatale doesn't always have to mean death too. A character can be a femme fatale and not be fatal or not like cause fatality to the protagonist. Like I think who isn't known from Fatale? Dang, like every character I ever known is like going out of my head. But I think of Zendaya as this kind of character in a sense because she used her feminine charm and her beauty to manipulate situations and to get what she wants. And in this situation, you know, she comes in, she's still 18. Like I said, she's very sweet, she's very bubbly, but there's a switch that happens. And she kind of notices the power that she has over these two boys, and she uses that.
So what do you think she really wants? I kind of struggle with that most of the movie. Is what do you think, at least in that scene?
What do you think she wants?
What does she want?
I think she just wants to have fun.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of like, I know these dudes want me. Let me have fun.
Yeah.
So we know that in this scene, like my favorite scene, you know, they're talking. She's like, okay, these dudes are really into me. And she just gets up and she sits on the bed. And they're still sitting on the floor. And she's just like, come here. And first they kind of look at each other. It's hilarious because
like,
Pat
cool.
and Art look at each other. Pat doesn't think twice. He gets up immediately and sit next to her. And Art's like, oh shit, I'm gonna sit next to her too. And then, you know, she looks at both of them. And who does she kiss first? Do you remember?
I think she kissed Art first.
She kisses Art first, which to me says a lot because we already knew that she respects Art more from the conversation they had on the beach.
Yep.
So her initial interest seems to lie with Art. So she's kissing Art first. Pat's just kind of there like a dog drooling, waiting for his turn.
Yeah.
And then she turns around and then she kisses Pat. And this one I knew this bitch is eating. Then she waits and she just does this. She just flips her hair back and they both kiss her on her neck. It was just like, it's such a power move. That's why I said the switch happened there.
Yeah.
Where she's charming. You know how sometimes when a girl wants a guy to like her, she laughs at their jokes. She's smiling. She's bubbly. That's how she was when she was sitting on the floor with them.
Yeah.
But then immediately she's like, you know, she knows her power. So they start kissing her neck. And then she holds their faces. They're all very close to each other. She kisses one. She kisses the other. She kisses one. She kisses the other. Basically, they're all kissing her, both of them. Mm-hmm. She backs away pretty soon. The two of them are kissing each other. Patrick and Art are kissing each other. And you see her face, smug as shit. She's like, I knew you guys were gay.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to prove it.
Yeah.
I knew it. Or even more, I can get y'all to do what the fuck I want y'all to do.
Yeah. No, I agree because, yeah. Yeah. I think guys, well, I'm just trying to figure out how much I want to say, right? Because I think guys
say whatever you want.
Threesomes with two guys and a girl is awkward anyway, and I think they were trying to figure out.
See, that's what I don't like about y'all though. Y'all always expect threesomes between two women and one dude. But as soon as it's two men and one woman, I'm like, oh no, now a homo. Yeah. But we're expect it to be the bisexual ones.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of the how far would they go, you know what I mean, to appease her. And it seems like it didn't take much for them to start making out.
It didn't take much at all because I feel like that was not their first time. I think they are both bisexual men.
Yeah, I didn't consider that. But yeah, you're right. She sat there and she liked it. And then she was like, okay, I proved my point. I got to go.
Dipped.
It's getting late. She dipped out.
And, you know, when she first said, I don't want to be a homeworker on the beach, I thought she meant like you guys are doubles partners. I don't want to come between this. But I think it's a double entendre too. You know what I mean? That? Meaning that I don't want to be a homeworker because I know you guys are romantically invested in each other too. So not only because you guys are partners, but because you guys kind of love each other too. Well, that's how I see it.
Yeah, no, Patrick, as a joke, he was like, "Oh, we're in an open relationship."
Yeah, we don't live together.
He said we don't live together, and we're in an open relationship.
And Hart was like, "No, so Pat has a girlfriend." So Pat's just a scumbag.
No, he's just a pimp.
But he is charming though. Something about he does like this slow smile. It's like I get why Tashi's kind of keep coming back to him. But yeah, that was my favorite scene in the movie. And I said, Zendaya, I always remember being in the theater. I looked at the DQ. I was like, Zendaya, eat it.
Just do it. Yeah. I think she did that very well.
Eat it. And then she just dips out.
Yeah.
And it's like, I want to be her. I'm like, and that's what I mean when she gives femme fatale. Like, she just knows her charm and she wields it. Yep. Unabashedly.
But while they're I guess before that, kind of in the midst of that scene, Patrick and Art was trying to figure out who Tashi would choose, right? And basically, she said, "You have to win me." Right?
Bray's calling me. Hi, Bray. Can't talk right now. Have you ever seen this? I have a texter.
That's funny, but yeah, no, they Tashi decides that the winner of the tennis match is who she'll date, right?
Yeah, so
Between
we
Art and
know
Patrick.
that Art and Pat are playing each other the next day.
Yep, the next day, and they play basically for her
For her heart. It's love and
exactly.
basketball,
It's
love and tennis.
Yes, love and tennis, right?
Yeah.
And Pat wins because he's the best tennis player, and he wins, and Tashi, true to her point, she loves a winner, so that's what she chose, and that's how the relationship kind of kicked off. They started dating.
They started dating, and then Tashi goes on to Stanford. But guess who is her classmate at Stanford?
Art.
Art.
He also got accepted to Stanford, while
And
Patrick decided to go.
He went pro.
He went pro.
Yeah. So this setup is always, it's already a sticky situation because a lot of times it's like you can be in a relationship, but if someone's right there,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
you know, you got a boyfriend at home and you go to school and you meet somebody else and it's just like,
Right there, proximity matters, right? Because some stuff like the heart, it's kind of wear down over time. You know what I mean? And I think Art tried to be respectful to a point. You know what I mean? Like he just gave subtle hints.
he shot his shot a bit.
He did.
I remember he said he had some free meal points, some extra meal points, and he wanted to take Tashi to lunch, so they went to the cafeteria.
Yeah.
Do you remember the conversation they had?
I just remember he asking, was she still dating Patrick? And
Who was coming up to see her play?
Yes, he was coming
against
up.
this girl named Pepperdine, from Pepperdine. I don't know, some girl.
Yeah.
He was going. Patrick was coming up to watch her match. Yeah.
Yes, to watch her match.
And Art said he hasn't really spoken to Patrick that much.
Because he was on tour and traveling, and he was jealous. Oh, we actually missed the scene.
What is that?
I'm not sure if that was before or after, but
We haven't been talking about the present day scenes too much. We've kind of just been.
No. There was a scene where Art and Patrick were just playing a game of tennis.
Oh.
And
okay, so this is. I know what you
immediately
mean.
It was immediately after the match.
So after the match. So this is before they go to Stanford.
Yep.
Yeah. So this is after Art had lost to Patrick.
Yeah.
And I guess the next day or maybe a few days before they were talking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I guess
And then Art was like, "Hey, like, did you smash? Like, did you sleep with her?" And Patrick was like, "I don't kiss and tell." And he was like, "What? You like with me?" You know what I mean? Like their relationship was pretty close enough that he felt that you tell me if you smashed or not. I don't kiss and tell. I don't kiss and tell. Well, then Art came up with this idea. He was
just
like,
non-verbal sort of way to communicate if he did indeed sleep with Tashi or not.
exactly. And he said, "Okay, well, if you did,
That's a nice racket, by the way.
serve like me, right?" And we have a racket as a prop, right? So normally Patrick serves. How does he serve?
I don't know how Patrick serves. I know how Art serves.
Well, Patrick normally serves with the tennis racket behind his back, right? He basically does this, bounces the ball, and then swing. That's how he starts his serve. But Art serves, and they called him out having a tick. Basically, he always puts the ball right in the center of the racket before he serves. So he decides, okay, if you slept with her, if Patrick slept with Patrick slept with Tashi.
And you not fall off.
Not
That's
fall
a question Tashi should be asking. Patrick, if you slept with Art, let me serve like me.
Exactly.
If you didn't serve like
if
you.
you slept with Tashi, serves like me. And so he was playing around. He was debating about it. This is Patrick. Patrick act like he's about to serve normally, and then he put the ball in the middle.
He did the Art tick.
The Art tick, right? And then
signifying that he did indeed
sleep with
Tashi.
And then he knocked the ball over to him, and then Art kind of just sat there and smacked it back and kind of did a fake smile. But you can tell that he was in his feelings. He was really upset about it. He was jealous, right?
Sometimes I appreciate though how sometimes the characters are a bit hard to read. Could you say like a fake smile? Obviously there's jealousy there, but I don't think the smile was necessarily fake. Like I said, there's a lot of love between Art and Patrick. So yes, I do firmly believe that he was jealous, but I don't think it was a fake smile. I think it was kind of both like, good job, my nigga, but also like, I wanted that to be me. In the same sense.
Well, we found the screenplay of this of the movie. In the screenplay, it says that when Patrick does the serve, he hits the ball over and he smiles, and then Art doesn't attempt to return it, and he smiles too. But when Patrick turns away, he looks down, and you can see in Art's face hatred, right? And he said that basically he was upset for two reasons. One, that he had sex with Tashi, but two is that he could serve that
Pat could serve like him that well.
Yeah, that Pat can serve perfectly normal that well. He just does his serve just to show off, essentially. Right? He just.
I get the screenplay, but to me, how it read, I know what the screenplay says and how the characters should have portrayed, but how I felt in the theater, that's how it felt to me.
Yeah, no, they were hard to read. Definitely.
Okay. So, yeah. Okay, so yeah, that I did forget about that. It's good you brought that up.
Yeah.
So now you want to move on to Stanford.
Yeah, so in Stanford, when Patrick and...
Art and Tashi are having a conversation, and like you said, Art is kind of like shooting his shot a little bit. Not aggressively, but he asked her, he said, you guys are still together, and Tashi was like, what's up? Like, you're holding something back. If you're sleeping with other girls, let me know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't... just tell me, I don't really care. And he was just like, he said, he's not in love with you.
Yeah.
And she just, because, she was mad because Art was kind of he was reluctant and kind of holding back and that pissed Tashi off. Because she's like, if you have something to say, just say it. If you're trying to tell me that to sleep with other girls, just tell me. He wouldn't, so she walked away pissed. And he's like, he is not in love with you. As to signify, I am. But he didn't say that yet. He's like, Pat's not in love with you. And she turned around and she said, what makes you think I want someone to be in love with me?
Exactly.
And this reminds me of the IMDb interview we watched when the interviewer asked Zendaya, what does she believe Tashi wants? And Zendaya said, truthfully, she wants to play tennis.
Yeah.
I think it was her one true love.
Yeah.
So it does make sense for Tashi to be like, why do you think I want someone to be in love with me? Like, I'm just having a good time, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But in Art's way, this is like, he's not in love with you, but girl, I am, who wouldn't be?
Exactly. He said that. He said, who wouldn't be?
Do you see that as a portrayal of their friendship? Or do you see it as him just being honest?
Him telling, I think anyone telling your friend's girlfriend that your friend doesn't love you is a betrayal. I think by definition, right? I think especially since the way their relationship started was a competition and still is a competition, right? But still is a competition. And that shows itself evident later on when Patrick actually shows up to the school.
Yeah, he shows up to support Tashi.
Yes.
Okay, and we can get to that after the break.
Okay, we got the first guest on the Watch That Jawn podcast. It's Sasha the dog. Yeah.
Such a pretty girl. So yeah, she's going to join us. Hopefully she won't be too much of a distraction. But even if she is, look at this face.
Look at the face.
Look at this face.
I'm the dog.
But you saying that Art bringing up the fact to Tashi that Pat didn't love her, you said that is a betrayal.
Absolutely, yeah.
You don't believe all is fair in love and war?
Well, no, not really. Right? Because think about it. Homewreckers, you can have that philosophy. I loved him, but he's married. I feel her, like this. But she got a boyfriend.
I feel like this. Let's say if like my best friend stole my man from me.
Yeah.
Y'all better get married. Y'all better be inseparable. That better be the love of your freaking life. Then, after time, healing, and therapy, I will forgive you. I will still be mad. I won't trust you around my new man. But it's like...
That doesn't mean it's not a betrayal.
It is a betrayal. It is a betrayal. But it's something where it's like, listen, You went for it. You really wanted it. Was it trifling? Absolutely.
Yep.
But at the same time, I get it. I would never do that to a friend. I don't care how much I love this person. But I feel like it's different here because it was established from very early on that it was an open competition for Tashi. And even though it may seem like, that Pat had gotten Tashi and the game was over, it's not. But that's more obvious when Art and Pat finally meet up.
Yeah.
And they decide to get Charles together.
Yep. So Patrick meets Art before he even sees Tashi. Right. So he comes over and he visits him. And they have a general conversation about like how he's doing at Stanford, how he's doing on tour, and then Art brings up their relationship, and he hints that he doesn't think Tashi is taking him seriously. He's taking the relationship seriously.
Yeah.
Right.
And he's saying, I don't think that Tashi's really taking it seriously. And then they're eating one thing that I noticed. So Art is at the stand getting the churros for them. And then Pat's sitting down waiting for him. And he uses his foot to pull Art's stool closer to him. And then they sit down and they're eating churros. Phallic-shaped food. They eat a lot of phallic-shaped food together while making close eye contact. And
it was
Patrick likes this thing of
like
like putting in. He likes getting close to people's faces.
He's a close talker.
But this whole thing, it was weird. It's like, man, like there was a lot of love there too, even though they're talking about Tashi, and Pat says something, pretty much Art is saying, I would never do anything to get between you and Tashi. And Pat said, I know it's not your style. You're playing 100%. You're playing percentage tennis, waiting for me to fuck up. So it's like, you're not actively doing anything. But when an opportunity presents itself, which it will, because I'm a douchebag.
You can slide them DMs.
You're going to be Captain Saberho. You're going to slide right in. So you're just waiting. You're biding your time, And I did like this conversation because, like I said, it's another thing where just the duality of their relationship is there, where there's a lot of love, but there's a lot of jealousy there too. Yeah. But there still doesn't seem to be any resentment between them. And that's why I like it too. They still seem like friends. They still seem like they love each other, Even if Pat does this thing where he like encroaches on your personal space and it seems friendly, but there's like a underlining of hostility there. Yep. Kind of like someone getting in your face to like intimidate you, but he does it in a way that's like, he kind of maybe not a masquerade, but he does it in a way that seems playful. Yeah. And I think Art doesn't buy into it because there's one point where like they're eating a churro and I think Pat takes a bite of it and then Art takes a bite of it too, right in front of his face, kind of saying like, I'm not afraid of you.
Yeah, because Patrick took it from
Art.
He
took it, yeah.
He took it and then he bit it.
Yeah.
And then he basically offered it over to Patrick and Patrick bit it too.
So that's Tashi.
I thought exactly.
The churros Tashi.
Right. I thought it was like
a light-skinned, sugar-coated slim thing.
Yeah, but no, like you really could eat my leftovers. That for the kind of sound like too.
Yeah, and he's like,
they're trying to be Eskimo bros.
Yeah, I will. Eskimo brothers. Yeah, that's deep.
Yeah,
I heard Eskimo is like a racist term, but
is it?
Yeah, it's not good.
I take that back.
No, but they understand. They understand what it means. They understand what it means.
Yeah.
So let's jump ahead to another scene, which is also a favorite scene of mine, where later that day, Tashi and Pat are in her dorm room together.
Yep.
One thing I noticed about this movie, it's a very sexy movie, but there's no sex. Like, there's always allusions to sex, but you don't really see the sex.
Yeah, that's true.
And one thing I said about Zendaya, I don't think Zendaya is for doing nude scenes.
Yeah.
And it's like, she really doesn't need to.
Yeah.
Like, she, not to knock people who do.
No, I know what you mean. No, I think that's fair.
Because in Euphoria, she was one of the few characters who kept her clothes on.
She did. She did. Zendaya was also the producer of this movie too. So
okay, she's kind of like
So she had free reign of what she wanted to do and how she wanted to do it, and how sexy she wanted to be.
Yeah.
And like you said, all the back shots they were showing of her.
They're gonna show that ass.
She probably was like, "Yo, man, show this." I did so many squats for this role. You know, I remember doing that same interview we referenced a few times that they trained and worked out for 6 weeks before even casting. Before shooting, right?
Yeah.
So it takes a lot of physical transformation to do these sorts of scenes, you know, where you have to be one of the top looking athletes in the world and look the part.
Yeah. So in the movie, it seems like they're about to have sex. You know, Zendaya's on top of Pat, and they're talking
in Tashi's dorm room.
In Tashi's dorm room, yeah. So you know, they seem like they're about to have sex, but Tashi Fashion is talking about tennis.
Yep.
And I don't know how the conversation came up, but I guess Patrick, I forget how it comes up, but I think Patrick tells Tashi pretty much that, you know, Art still wants you. And Tashi pretty much says, like, you know, you should be threatened by him. She said he's gotten a lot better. He's good looking.
Yep.
He's a great tennis player. And one thing that I noticed when she was saying that, she's like kissing him. She's kissing Pat while praising Art. And, you know, I like the what they did there because, like, you know, she's kissing him, so he's, like, moaning. But she's also talking about Art to him, and he's moaning. So it's kind of like, for me, it's like, is her saying Art's good looking, Art's this while kissing you kind of a turn on for Pat, too? You know, you never really know. You never really know.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So, you know,
the conversation started because she was trying to give him pointers. She was like, "Oh, you know, I saw your last match, and you could have won if you played seriously. You know what I mean? You could have won if you actually tried and didn't give up." And then that's when she started talking about Art, how he has a don't give up attitude.
And Patrick said something along the lines of, "Are the two of us still playing for your number? I thought I won." And Tashi said, "You always think you've won before the match is over."
Yes.
And then Pat just looks at him. And then this is from the screenplay, so it might be different from the movie. Patashi says, "You have all this experience visualizing victory, but none visualizing defeat. The moment the match starts slipping away from you, you decide you'd rather just throw it on your own terms than to accept that you might get beaten by a guy who you know isn't as nearly as talented as you are."
Yep.
So, and that really says a lot, because I know for me, of course I do not play professional tennis on any level. But it's kind of like, if I'm playing someone, I realize I play like the person I'm playing against. If I'm playing someone who's better than me, I play better. If I play someone who's not as good as me, I play worse. And the person who's worse than me ends up winning because I take my foot off the gas.
Yep.
And I feel like Pat does this thing where he has this arrogance, but so he doesn't play to his full potential. He does things to barely get by because he feels like he doesn't need to.
Yep.
Then it's like, oh, snaps, I can't coast on this anymore. Well, I don't feel like trying hard or accepting the fact that I could have won if I actually played. So I'm just going to throw it away and not try. Then I could say I didn't really care anyway. You know what I mean?
So the NFL draft just happened this past weekend. And there was an interview with Nick Sirianni, who's the head coach of the Eagles, Go Birds. And he does
Nick Sirianni?
Nick Sirianni, yes.
I'm thinking about Nick Nurse.
Yes, Nick Nurse is the Sixers. I didn't realize they both were Knicks'.
Yeah, I was like...
Anyway.
Need some water.
So Nick Sirianni, during his recruiting process, he does competitive games with the basically people the Eagles fly in. So he'll play rock, paper,
they're called exhibition games.
No.
In tennis.
Well, I'm saying for the NFL, right? The coach.
I know, but what you're saying sounds like an exhibition match in tennis. Like, it seems like the same, where you kind of play games that don't mean anything, just to, like, you play games against other people, but it's not counting against.
Yes, but Nick Sirianni plays it like rock, paper, scissors, shoot, or he'll do like a shooting competition, like they play horse with these people they're thinking about bringing.
Oh, they're not playing football.
No, they're not playing football.
Never mind.
He's
That's
doing
something different.
He's doing these games to see how competitive they are, to see what happens when they lose. Are they upset? Do, like you just said, like Patrick says, do they just kind of wave it off and say they didn't really try? Do they let him win? What type of competitive nature he is? Because he wants guys who competes at every level, right? And I feel like that makes the same with Tashi's standpoint, right? Is that you need to be able to compete regardless of who's in front of you, regardless of who's across the net,
Exactly.
regardless of who's blocking you on the court. You know, you need to bring your best self forward. And I think that kind of, that's what it reminded me of.
Yeah. So, and one thing that she says, Pat's like, are we still talking about tennis? When she says you always think the match is over, that you've won. And she's like, I'm always talking about tennis. So, yeah, she's trying to give him points, and Patrick doesn't want to hear it.
He's like, essentially, you're not my coach.
Mm-hmm.
That, like, I'm not your fan. I don't walk around calling myself the Dunkinator.
Yeah.
Right? We are peers.
And Tashi said something. She's like, if you're not interested in me fixing your game for free, then don't worry about it. And Patrick will say, why do you care so much? And she says, I'm dating you. It's embarrassing for me if you suck.
Yeah.
And I said, I love her. I love her. She's like, you're a reflection of me. Get your act together, because I'm not going to be I'm not going to be dating a loser.
Exactly.
So, yeah, and he pretty much said, like, I am not a fan of yours. I am your peer, and you would treat me as such.
Exactly.
And Tashi said something along the lines of, she said, I mean, what do you want from me? Or what do you think you need? A cheerleader, a fuck buddy, a girlfriend? There are a lot of girls who will be your girlfriend. You're talented. You're charming. You've got a big dick. Go be one of them. And she's just kind of like, I like how she's just her.
Yeah.
Unabashedly her. She's like, listen, if you want a girl who's going to cheer at your games and say, go, Patrick, go, and just not try to push you, like, she's a person who is drawn to excellence. She's drawn to people like her. DQ always says, date the person, be the person you'd want to date. Tashi is a competitor. She likes people who are driven. She likes people who don't play around.
Yeah.
So it's like, of course, if you're with her, she's going to try to bring you to her level.
Yeah.
And that can be annoying, because it's like, I thought you liked me for me. I didn't ask you, to come in and try to transform me and make you your project. And it's like Tashi, you knew he wasn't that serious about tennis to begin with, but because he beat Art, maybe you thought he was.
Yeah.
But
I think that he thought that they're just tennis players in a relationship, right? Whereas Tashi's mindset is, like, they thought that they was in a relationship who plays tennis. Mm-hmm. Where Tashi's mind is, I'm just dating you, but tennis is who I am. That's our identity, Mm-hmm. And yeah, they had a big fight, and they broke up essentially right then and there, where they mostly broke up right then and there. And he said he's not going to go to our match, and he storms off the room. So immediately after that, Tashi is playing her match, and
against someone from Pepperdine.
Yes, but Arch is there. Art is there. Art. He's there, and he's watching, and he texts Patrick, hey, where you at? And he said, we had a big fight. I'm not coming. So Tashi goes in her mode, right? They do the same sort of close-up where she's just basically eating and just, like,
playing excellent tennis.
Excellent tennis.
She's really giving it to her. But when she comes to approach the net, her knee gives out.
And it was gruesome. Just watching, I was like, ugh. Right? It just, her knee gives out, and she's...
For a person with knee pain, I felt that. Yeah. I was like, eh. You know how Peter, when he falls, he's like, ah. When she cracked that knee, that was me. I was like, I get it.
No, that pain was real.
Yeah.
Right? And she was on the ground, and her coach ran to her, and then Art jumped over and ran over to her, and basically...
And guess who wasn't there?
Patrick, right? And then when they brought her over to the training room, because the match had over, she couldn't continue. She had forfeited the match. She couldn't continue. Patrick, he does show up, and she tries to kick him out the room.
She does kick him out.
And then
she says, get out.
He still stands there.
Where is I told you shirt? What I want to get into.
Yeah, but then Art goes and says, hey, get the F out. So Art had to go and actually kick him out the room. And I think that was the end of their relationship. And basically Art chose Tashi over Patrick in that moment. But no, you're right. There was something subtle in the I Told Ya shirt. The first time I seen it, it was just a gray T-shirt that says I Told Ya. Tashi was wearing it when she had lunch with
Art.
Art.
In the cafeteria.
And then later on, Like,
I even seen the director, Luca, wearing that shirt too.
Yeah, and later on, Patrick wore it too.
Patrick was wearing it when he was outside the restaurant.
Oh, outside the.
Walking past the window.
Okay, Patrick was wearing it when they were out. Okay, in the Applebee's scene. Okay, and also he was wearing it one more time when he was watching them just practice and hitting balls around. So
I think at some point it just shows that every character in the story has had egg in their face at one point.
yeah,
And you can say "I told you" to each and every one of those characters. Tashi, Pat told you that you would get bored with Art. Art, Tashi was, gonna play you, and Pat, we told you that going pro wouldn't work out for you, and
Yep.
just, everyone kind of folded in their own way, in their own way.
I agree.
But yeah, I think that Tashi was right to break up with Patrick, because it's like, even though we did have a big fight, the fact that you didn't come to my game was very petty. And if I got injured and you weren't there, it's like, nah, that's it.
Yeah,
That's over for you, buddy. And so moving on, a few years go by and Tashi's trying to get her game together, but she just can't get it together.
Yep.
And one thing about her is that she accepts it. And that's
Yeah.
what I like about her too. I don't like the fact that she tries not to cry, but she accepts it and she moves on. So we'll get to her next steps after the quick break. All right, guys, we're back at it again. So where we left off, like I said, once Tashi realized that her career was over, she shifted really quickly, and that's when she decided to move forward. But I didn't like the fact how she didn't really allow herself time to really grieve
Yeah.
the loss of her career.
yeah,
And I think if she would have done that, it would have helped her not try to live vicariously through Art later on when they got married.
No, that's a good point. I think it's hard for athletes to transition because, when you see a professional athlete be in the league and they're about to retire, you just think about that portion of their life where they was in the spotlight. But
You mean you think about like their peaks? You don't-
yes,
yeah.
but you don't think about the training, the tennis camps they had to go to,
It's
like,
really weird now that the Warriors aren't the best team in the world anymore, because they literally were the best team for like 10 years, for so long. When you say that, that makes me think of like Klay Thompson.
okay, he didn't retire.
He didn't retire, but I'm saying he's not at his peak anymore.
Yeah.
And like you said, we like to think of him at that peak. So at least for me, the transition has been kind of startling when I look at the Warriors and I'm like, wow, you guys aren't like killing the game anymore. That's really weird. They're not even in the playoffs.
Yeah.
They didn't make the playoffs. I was like, that blew my mind, because in 2016, I hated y'all because y'all keep beating the Celtics, the Cavaliers.
Yep,
yeah.
yep, yep.
And I was a big LeBron fan. So yeah.
No, but it's what I'm trying to get at is it's hard to stop something you dedicated literally your entire life to do something else and
Especially-
and accept it.
Especially when it comes to Tashi, who literally, she made that her everything.
She did.
But so in the film, a few years or time, I'm not sure, I don't remember how long goes by, and Art and Tashi reconnect, and then they
Yep.
go have dinner at Applebee's.
Applebee's.
Do you remember when Applebee's used to look like that?
Yeah, Applebee's used to be the spot. It used to be like,
It's funny, when they were sitting inside, before I seen the outside of the restaurant, I was like, they're at either a Fridays or an
Or an
Applebee's.
Applebee's, yeah.
And I saw them back, and I was like, Applebee's. That was Applebee's in the early 2000s.
yeah,
Like,
no, it was a
yeah.
good time.
Yeah, and during that conversation, Art confesses that he still has feelings for her, and
He
that's
asks
when
her-
they got together.
Yep, and he asks her to be his coach.
Yeah.
He said, "You want to come coach for me?" Because she was coaching for someone else.
Yeah.
I think she was coaching in the women's league.
Yeah.
She was doing a good job of it.
And I think that's a really high honor, because at this point, isn't this the point like where Art was not too far away from a Grand Slam, or was that later on?
That was later on. That was
Okay,
later
okay.
on. He was young enough. I think he was either about to go into his professional career or he just started it.
Okay.
But either way, it was before he actually, like, she drove him to win all of those titles and
Yeah.
championships.
Yeah.
Right. And that kind of, like you said, kind of kick-started their career and their relationship.
Yeah. And at this point, Art also, I don't think he's been talking to Pat that much.
No, he hasn't.
Okay, so he hasn't talking to Pat. But the trio does reunite in 2011 at the Atlanta Open. And Do you think that, because I remember further on in the film, Patrick says to Tashi, did you tell him what happened in Atlanta?
Yeah.
The screenplays say that they slept together. The movie leaves it up to interpretation, though. Because in Atlanta, remember that Tashi's sitting in like the hotel lobby having a drink or something.
Mm-hmm. She's depressed. Why is she depressed?
Because she's not a tennis player.
But was Art struggling?
No, I think Art was doing pretty good. Well, I don't know.
I can't remember.
I can't remember either.
She was.
It's funny, she was
she-
just drinking. I think she just wants to play tennis.
She wants to play.
Yeah, but
She was depressed because the girl she played, who she broke the knee to, won like the
From
women's
Pepperdine?
U.S. Yep,
For Pepperdine.
She won like the U.S. World Open for women's or whatever. U.S. Open.
I would be pissed. You could have beaten her. That
Yes.
should be you.
Exactly.
That should be you.
Yes.
Oh my! Isn't it so annoying how your body fails you in clutch moments?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know, when you're like doing a workout or something, and all of a sudden you get a leg cramp.
Exactly.
And it's like,
or
what?
you try to get out of bed and your back hurt. Like just stuff like that.
My back doesn't hurt.
Your
when I
body,
get out of
your
bed.
body just failed you.
Your body seems to fail more.
Or when you
honestly.
sneeze and it hurts your chest.
That never happened to me.
That-
Either. I
oh.
think you should go to a doctor. But yeah. So in the movie, she's kind of just sitting there in the hotel lobby. Like the little cafe at a hotel, the little restaurant,
The
at a
little bar,
hotel.
hotel bar.
And she just sees Pat just walking outside.
And you know what shirt he's wearing? He's wearing the
he is wearing the
I
I Told You shirt.
I Told You shirt.
So they come inside, they have a drink, and they're talking. And then we go to Art's perspective, and he's like walking, and he glances them he sees them at the table. They're holding hands, but he turns around, they're gone.
They're gone.
So I think that kind of, what Pat says, it seems like they obviously slept together.
Yep.
So I don't know if they did or if we're seeing it with Art's view, where he thinks he did, but they're not sure. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if you know what I mean? Like, because like I said, he turned around, they were there. He turned back around, they were gone.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if they're saying, because I read somewhere that they said that Tashi and Pat slept together and Art suspects they did. But it's kind of like, I don't know if the movie, it's more like, well, we don't know if they slept together. We just know that Art may think so. So I don't know if they slept together. Do you think they did?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
All right, because they were making out before.
They did make out. We know that they made out.
And then what I think, no, I'm kind of backtracking.
Yeah.
Because they made out, and if they saw Art see him, if they knew that Art saw them.
They didn't know. In the film, they had no idea he was watching. And that brief glimpse Art took, and he turned around and they were gone.
Oh, because someone asked for the autograph. I think they went to go smash. But where else would they go?
No, what I'm saying is, how do I say it? I don't think that what we saw was actually what Art saw. I think what we're seeing is Art's mind, if that makes sense. Like, I think we're seeing Art, like a visual interpretation of Art thinking they're sleeping together.
You think his okay.
Like, we're seeing his psyche, like they're doing something, but I don't know. If that, do you get what I'm saying?
No, I do understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
You think that you saw Art's like visual representation of his fear that they're sleeping together?
Yes.
Because
Yes,
he was playing him. They were playing.
They were
together.
both there. They were both at the Atlanta
Yeah,
Open.
they were at the Atlanta Open, and he lost to him. Right? He never beat him. Art never beat
They
Patrick.
never played because the weather was bad. Remember they had I don't know, because they showed the scoreboard of Pat and Art together.
Yep.
And then the weather was really, really bad. So
The
I
night
don't know if the
before.
match got canceled and they never played,
No.
or I don't know if they played, Pat won, and maybe that's why Tashi might have slept with him. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think? Do you
I
think
think- I
they
think-
played?
I think
I assumed the game was canceled.
No, I thought that was the night before because
No, remember the day of? It was the day of. Remember there was a scene. There was like it was a crazy storm and like the tents were flying everywhere and like the
The
tournament
tarp.
was written in chalk on a green board.
Yep.
You think that was the day before?
I think so. I don't remember.
You don't know? Okay. But I do like it. I do like the ambiguity of this film. It's kind of
Yeah.
like, yeah. So
Even if they didn't sleep together, they might as well have. in my
they might
opinion.
as well have. Yeah.
In my opinion.
Quick question: who would you choose if you were Tashi?
I would choose tennis.
That is the right answer. All right. One thing I wonder.
Trying to catch me slipping.
We know that Art and Tashi get married. They have a daughter named Lily. I wonder why she didn't like live vicariously through her daughter and just make her daughter's life hell. Did she love her daughter too much? I know her daughter was young. She looked like what, 3?
Her daughter was maybe like 4 or 5, so she probably will.
You think it's inevitable she's gonna do that?
Yeah, but she wants to win now. And
She doesn't want to play the long game.
Well, I think eventually she would change, but Art right now is her vehicle.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And that's how she can live vicariously through Art.
Okay.
So she drives him, and when he retires, maybe she'll find someone else to coach. Maybe, like you said, she start abusing her daughter.
That's what most parents do.
It is.
You know, but normally it's like acting.
Yeah, normally.
Jeanette McCurdy's mom. You know. But yeah. So let's go to the present day. So
iCarly.
Huh?
iCarly.
Yeah. But yeah, let's go to the present day. So we know that in the presently, Tashi convinces Art to sign up for the Challengers in New Rochelle.
Yep, and why
they explain what the Challengers is. Do you remember what they said it was? I don't remember.
So the Challengers is a tournament that is designed to have players compete for a spot in the qualifiers in the ATP Tour, which is the Association for Tennis Professionals Tour.
You know what Zendaya said in that? Remember what Zendaya said in the IMDb interview about ATP?
Oh yeah, that is also their
acronyms.
Their acronyms.
Art, Tashi, Pat.
Yes, Art, Tashi, Pat. So the Challengers tournament is an opportunity for basically either low-level players or players that's not ranked really high or players who are out of their prime to go, and when they win, they get ranked in the top 128. And then they can qualify to play basically a qualifying match to get into the U.S. Open or British Open or whatever other.
I don't think there is a
ATP.
British Open.
There's a British Open.
There's a French Open. I never heard of a British Open. Hey Google, is there a British Open?
On the website Britannica.com, they say British Open, one of the world's 4 major golf tournaments, with a Masters tournament,
Golf.
US Open, and the Professional Golfers Association Championship, and the oldest continually run championship in the sport.
Okay, that makes sense why that's top of my mind. So the British Open is golf.
But yeah, so pretty much, yeah, she signs up for the Challengers because she wants him to get his mojo back. Mm-hmm. And guess who's also at the Challengers? You guess it, Patrick.
And Patrick is
a bum.
Is a bum. He's sleeping in his car. You know, he doesn't have enough money for a hotel room. He basically tries to charm his way into rooms by sleeping with random women and like
or
get
men
food or men. You know, he's struggling.
But you know what I like. This may be off topic, but the costume designer from this film is Jonathan Anderson. He's a designer for the company Loewe. He also worked with Uniqlo, which is a very prominent brand in this movie. But one thing I noticed, it's just simple things. Like I noticed that Patrick in the Challengers match against Art, he has black socks. And it's just like, there's something about having black socks that make you seem poor. Like I remember yesterday.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's why I said you don't have white socks.
Whoa.
Professional tennis players, you would not even just black socks, not like black sweat gym socks, the thick ones.
That's exactly what I'm wearing right now.
I know.
Son.
That's why I asked you to change yesterday. Remember I said, do you have white socks?
I do, yeah.
But I'm like, then I thought about it. You're Patrick, so you're the bum, and I'm like, yeah. But
I am also offended.
White socks, but that's the socks of a tennis player. yeah. But it's
so
just
you got
a
the
little
socks
details.
of tennis player, but not the skills. I get it.
That I got a leg cramp doing that. Remember we talk about how your body fails you in the most inopportune moments. But yeah, that's one thing that I like, the little details. You know, he was wearing like these. He would wear shorts that didn't even look like tennis shorts. They look like regular plaid print shorts.
Like you wear a Planet Fitness. Yes, that's how. He did not dress. He did not look like he was going to a Challengers tournament.
Yeah.
Right? He did not look the part at all.
Yeah,
but you know what?
It's those details that matter when it comes to costume designs. Like you can't say a person's poor, but you know
he
they're
showed
rocking.
with Louis, or he wears like, you know what I mean.
I don't know. He has like sponsorships with Adidas and stuff like that. Like he doesn't, like he literally joined the tournament to get money.
Yep.
Like the qualifier, they give him what, $200 for qualifying, $400,
$400 just for
and he
being
wanted
there,
advance right then and there.
Yes.
Signing up for the challengers, a woman was there with half her sandwich and he wanted it.
Yes.
She literally gave him half a sandwich because she was so hungry.
Exactly.
He had no place to go. He had to sleep in his car. He's a bum.
Yes.
But
But
he
for no
chooses to
reason.
be a bum.
He chooses to be a bum because his family got money. You
Well,
know?
I get it though. Like he's like 32 at the time. It's embarrassing asking your parents for money, even if they do have it. Like,
Is it more embarrassing? I guess it depends.
to sleep in your car?
To sleep in your car and be a subpar tennis player and just, you know what I mean? I think that's a little. Sometimes you gotta kind of swallow your pride, you know. But I think that's kind of with him. He didn't really feel like putting the effort in to get his life together.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
He didn't feel like putting the effort in to be a better tennis player. Right.
Yeah.
He didn't have the effort to even be a good boyfriend in a relationship. Right.
Yeah.
It's just kind of how he is. It's
Yeah.
just stuff comes easy to him. And when it doesn't, he struggles and he
Yeah.
doesn't know how to cope.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, so we know present day they're competing against each other, and this is a big deal because Tashi has been going back and forth between these men for the longest time.
Yeah.
For the longest time, and now it's finally, time for them to really go at it. And
And Tashi and Patrick meet each other in the lobby of a hotel when Patrick is on a date with some random
trying to find a place to sleep.
trying to find a place
So
to
many
sleep.
niggas only with girls because they need a place to sleep.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, she sees them. She's like, "What are you doing here?" They have a whole back and forth. They hate each other. There's a lot of resentment. That is often there between exes. You know what I mean? But at one point, Patrick approaches Tashi and he says, "I want you to coach me."
Yeah.
And the look on Tashi's face
Was disgusting.
is priceless. She's looking at him like, "You done lost your damn mind several times.
Several times over.
And you better go find it." She
was like-
smacks him.
She did slap him. She was like, "You want advice to me? Quit."
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh snap!" I think she said that what he could do to get better is put a gun in his mouth.
Yeah, she said you'll be better off with the gun in your mouth than continue doing what you're doing.
Like crazy.
Yeah.
She just verbally abused this.
Her
man.
outfit was fire though.
It was,
She looked chic as fuck. She looked
she
chic.
did.
But one thing I think about Zendaya, now that she's older, her character's 32 or 33, I believe. This is the first time I ever said this, but I wish she looked older. Sometimes in her older age, it just didn't seem believable to me because Zendaya just has a baby face. Even her voice is childlike. I was like,
Yeah.
y'all couldn't put like a wrinkle in or something.
But
Like,
even 30. First off, 33 is not old.
it's not
Second,
old, but I'm saying
and-
she doesn't look like that. She looks like she could be 16 to 21.
Yes, but in
in
real
my
life,
mind.
she's 27.
She does not look
She
it.
doesn't look it.
Yeah.
So she's
It's a good thing, but I was kind of thrown a bit. I was like, are we supposed to believe that she is?
Yeah,
in
but
her
even
30s?
like that.
And she's not even far from her 30s in real life. That's crazy, but she doesn't look like it.
Exactly. But no, it is crazy because both Art and Patrick, while Josh O'Connor and Mike Feist are 32, 33. But they actually went through a transformation. When they were in college, they looked a heck of a lot younger than they did when they met up years later. And I think because they actually look like grown adults, you know what I mean? So they had to do more with their makeup and dye their hair and like shaving and everything to make it look like they're younger. But like you said, Zendaya didn't really look like she changed much, you know? Only thing, she just changed her hairstyle a little bit and she just wore different sorts of makeup and just to make herself look a little older. So,
You want to take a break?
yes.
Welcome back, guys. So we left off talking about the conversation between Tashi and Pat, where Pat asks Tashi to be her coach, and she pretty much said, "Fuck off."
Yep.
But Patrick said something that stuck with me. Remember when she said that Patrick said that Tashi hated her husband, Art?
Yes, she accused him of hating him.
He accused her of hating
Art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Tashi said, "Why would I hate my husband?" And he pretty much said, "I think you hate him because he's tired. I mean, for a guy like that to keep competing at the level you're demanding of him at 34, coming off of a surgery, it's exhausting. And you can feel him giving up already, even though you know he's not going to retire until you let him." She said he's a grown man. He can do whatever he wants. He never imagined his life would be this good. He never imagined you'd get this far. And you can tell that the only reason he's pushing himself to keep going after the injury is that he think he owes it to you.
Yeah.
And he does owe it to you. This is all he could do after you've done for him, is to keep his head down and win you guys one U.S. Open trophy to complete the collection. But you can tell he's doing it for you, and you find that absolutely infuriating.
Yeah.
So it's just back to the idea of Tashi wants someone like her, and
Yeah.
she cannot get that with either of these two men.
Yeah, and it's hard, right? Because Art, he obviously is a good guy, and he's doing everything he can, like you said, because he feels obligation to his wife, who was a phenomenal tennis player, who got hurt before she reached her prime. And they have everything. They're rich, you know, they travel across
That is
the
true. They come
world.
from two different backgrounds.
Right. I mean, together, right? Together in their life that they built together, they're rich. Like they have
okay.
banners of them in front of the Aston Martin. You know what I mean?
Aston Martin cars.
Aston Martin called Game Changers. And I remember there was a scene where
She changed the ad.
she changed the ad and
made it
added the
plural.
S and made it plural because it's more than just he's
About
not the
him.
only the
Yeah.
game changer. She's
Yeah.
Game Changers.
Yeah.
So it's always a struggle, right? When you live your life for someone else, right? On both sides of it. It's a struggle for him because, you know, he probably, like you said, didn't expect to get that far, and he was probably satisfied with having an average career and having her.
Which my thing is, I don't think there's nothing wrong with that.
Neither do I.
Like people who, I understand people who want to strive to be better every day, but some people, I don't think everyone, if you're content when you are, be content where you
Be
are.
content when
People
you
say,
are.
oh, you should always be trying to better yourself. And I understand that, but if you're not a scumbag, if you're a good person, you're content with how the way things are, you're not hurting anyone, I don't think there's nothing wrong with that, you know?
Neither do I. But once again, Zendaya is
Tashi.
Tashi. Tashi is a 1 in a million athlete.
Yeah.
You
And
know what
like,
I mean? And she has that drive that you have to win everything.
yeah, and she didn't grow up with money like Art and Patrick did.
No.
So she's like, you are pissing this away. And she says that a few times. She says something like, I would kill to recover like you have after an injury to Art.
Exactly. She
So
did say
it's
that.
like, dog, like, if I were in your position, do you know what I would be doing right now?
Yeah.
And it's just, it infuriates her. But, okay, so I don't know if it's the same day or so, but it's the night before the match between Patrick and Art at the Challengers in New Rochelle.
Yep, the finals.
Tashi and Art are getting ready for bed. And then before they're going to bed, Art comes to Tashi and he says, tell me it doesn't matter. Saying, tell me it doesn't matter if I win tomorrow.
Yeah.
And he pretty much just says, you know, he just wants to know. He said, I just want to know that you'll love me regardless of what happens. And she says, what am I, Jesus?
Yeah.
And he says, yeah. And he means it. And that says everything, like we said. She is the center of his world.
Yeah.
Like, everything he does is for her. He's doing this for her. You know what I mean? And she's just like, she tells him straight up. You know, he's like, he tells her, what did he tell her that she doesn't want to hear? He said, you're going to be really mad.
Oh, that he's going to retire at the end of the year if he wins the U.S. Open or not.
Or not.
Yep. He said
said
he's
he's
tired.
tired.
He's tired. He wants to hang out with his daughter.
He doesn't want to be the dude who doesn't know when to quit.
Yep. And be playing when 40s. Embarrassing. He's like, yo, I'm done.
And that's why I think he is the most level-headed player out of all three of them.
Yep.
He's not toxically obsessed like Tashi. He's not an underachiever like Pat. He just is a person who loves tennis, but he's also focused on other things too.
Exactly.
You know? Like, we don't really see Tashi being much of a mother. She get that baby to her daughter
Exactly.
often.
To her mom. Her mom all the time.
Yeah, she get that baby to her mom often. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, you know, but he's still asking her for permission.
Yeah.
And he's like, I want you, coach me, tell me what to do. And she says straight up, if you don't win, I'm leaving you. And at first I think she's just saying that to get him to play harder. But I'm like, she means it.
Yeah. I think she means it. I think she means it because
She cries a little bit.
Yeah, but
Her
I think,
face is like,
like I said, I think the relationship, at least from her side, was how far he can get with tennis. And when tennis is gone, she's gone. You know, because I don't think she's able to admit to herself that part of her life is over. She's not ready to be away from that part of her life. So I don't know if it could turn to. I don't know why she could be like, I'm still coach, I'm finding her a player, but her relationship with.
I mean, she
Art,
did take Pat's number when Pat asked her to be his coach. I'm like, if you really was serious, you wouldn't have even took his phone number. She still took it.
She took his number.
She still took the number.
And after the argument, he was like, let me just lay here and sleep with you.
Like, my thing is, if someone would have said to me, if you don't win, I'm leaving, I would have been, you could leave right now. Why wait?
Yeah.
I would have been, the door is right there. Leave my daughter in her bedroom and get out.
Yeah.
But instead he wanted to treasure the last few moments he had with her, and he held her. And he said, could you just stay here till I fall asleep?
Yeah.
And I'm like, you are obsessed. That's not healthy. Like, what do you mean? If you leave now, like, I don't know. But he said, like, instead of saying that, I want to savor what I have left. And he just wanted to hold her. And she went out and ran straight to Pat.
Yeah, that was dirty, yo.
To ask him to, continue.
So both things. One, dirty. She left him, and she basically asked Pat to throw the tennis match and let her husband win.
But she was doing it for him?
No,
but
she
really
wasn't.
for her.
She wasn't. She was doing it for her.
Yeah.
She was doing it for her for a few reasons. One,
she wanted to be the coach of the player who won a Grand Slam.
Yeah.
A career Grand Slam. Because he was one U.S. Open away.
Yes. Yeah. She wanted to do that. But also, she wanted to basically force herself to love Art. Right? Because if she knew that if he legitimately tried his best and legitimately lost, that her love for her would go away. So I feel like she did it so that she could have a reason, even if it's fabricated, because maybe over the years she can lie to herself.
So you think she'll love him more? Do you think she'll love him less if he tried and still failed, as opposed to?
I think she's from a big picture, right? I guess when the macro, if he wins, he qualifies for the tournament. He gets his confidence up. He goes back. He can make a run for U.S. Open, and that's ultimately what she wants. But in the micro,
I think in the back of her mind, she'll still be like, she'll still hate him, even if you do get the confidence to go to U.S. Open, she'll still hate him because it's like, you only won because I set that up.
Exactly.
Because I slept my way to get you to the top.
Exactly.
But you're saying she would resent him more if she didn't ask Pat to throw the match and he still lost, trying his hardest. Because I think she wants him to try his hardest.
She does. And she said that too. She was like, don't like make it obvious you're losing or whatever. And I don't know. I think, to be honest with you, their relationship was done as soon as he asked them, let me know it doesn't matter. And she couldn't. After all the winning he did, after all the success they had as a family, after all the earnings they had, and that one match, he has to be his nemesis, or it doesn't matter.
So let's talk about the match.
Yep.
In particular, this reminded me of, remember with Poor Things, when we talked about how Bella Baxter and what was Mark Ruffalo's character's name?
I can't
Duncan Weatherbottom, whatever.
Yep,
how they were having a conversation during the dance that they had in, was it in Lisbon? Do you remember?
No, just keep going though.
Okay. I think the tennis match between Pat and Art was like that, where they were communicating non-verbally with each other through tennis. Because remember, Pat did that thing again where he served the bar like Art did to let him know that he slept with Tashi the night before.
So, I knew that was going to happen.
Did you?
Yes.
Okay.
I knew. I was sitting there thinking, I almost looked at Eileen a few times and said, yo, he's about to do the ball thing and show that he smashed, right? Because he's kind of petty like that, right?
I don't think it was out of petty, though. I don't think it was. I don't think it was all the way out of pettiness. I think he was letting him know, Tashi ain't shit, bruh. You're doing all this from a woman who would never truly love or respect you. But I always loved you. Remember, before the match started, you know, when Pat and Art were in the sauna.
In the sauna, yep.
You know, and Art chewed him out, and he said, I came in here to wish you congratulations.
Yeah.
Even though he did have a posturing attitude, like he literally, like he said, had his dick out. Like,
Yeah.
it was just, it was kind of hot. But,
Oh my God.
but, you know, he said he was trying to make amends.
Yeah.
So I don't think it could have, it definitely could have been like, you know, him once again putting his dick on the table and like humiliating him. But I think it's also like, yo, these hoes ain't loyal.
Yeah.
Like, you're doing all of this. And there's also communication after Pat let Art know what happened. Pat served the ball and almost hit him in the face with it.
Yep, he aimed right at him.
And he yelled, you know what I mean? So they were definitely had a conversation. I think the conversation was, you know, Pat revealing what happened, Art reacting, them both kind of wanting to throw the game because they don't want to give Tashi the satisfaction of a good match.
Yep.
But them finally playing for themselves.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
they're playing like they did when they were teenagers. The
Exactly.
two of them playing for the love of tennis and only the love of tennis.
Yeah.
In the end conclusion of us not knowing who won.
Exactly. Because there
But
was
them
a,
embracing.
there was a scene where, when they were on the beach, where Tashi was talking how she challenged Patrick and said that he doesn't know what tennis really means.
He does, yeah, I
She
remember
said
that.
that you think tennis is you playing like is like you're by yourself, you're playing with yourself, but really tennis is about a relationship, right? And she said that for 15 minutes or so when she was playing for the junior league's finals, right? She said that me and that player had a conversation and we're the only ones in the world. And that last match between Patrick and Art was just like that. And even on the beach scene, there was a moment where Patrick, where Art was like, "Hey, that scream you let out, right? When that
She said,
when that
"Come
was
on!"
like that."
Very
scream,
Serena Williams. She does that a lot.
Yes, but that scream, she said, "I never heard anything like that before." And
was
at the
guttural.
end of their back and forth, right, where Art went up to go and do the spike on doing a tiebreaker round, right? I don't know if he hit the ball. I don't know if he just didn't swing, but he went and he embraced.
He fell into Pat's arms.
He fell into Pat's arms.
He jumped so far over the net to spike that ball that he jumped past the net, fell
Yeah.
into Art's side of the court, well, Patrick's side of the court, and they embraced each other.
Yes.
And you know what that reminds me of? Remember during, I think, we don't know if it's the first scene, I can't remember, but during the doubles match, when they won
Yep.
at the juniors doubles tournament and they embraced each
they
other and fell
embraced.
to the ground, that's what
Exactly.
it reminds me of. And then what did Tashi say?
She screamed.
Come
she
on,
let, she
yeah.
let that like ah.
Yeah, like,
You know
let's
what I mean?
go.
Like let's
Yeah.
freaking go.
Because I remember she said in the hotel room, you know, she was just like, I just want to see some good tennis.
Yeah.
I want to see y'all. And that's all she ever wanted.
Yeah.
So I really like how the way the movie ended. I do like how it's on a cliffhanger. And this movie definitely is a Watch That Jawn. It's a large bag of popcorn for me easily. What about you?
No, I agree. I think it had all the elements of a sports movie, but it didn't go super deep that you had to know what tennis was to kind of follow it, you know. But it was a love triangle
Yes.
in the sense that everyone was really competing against each other except for Tashi. She was competing against herself. But no, I absolutely agree. It was a Watch That Jawn. It was something that caught me off guard because you mentioned it.
Yeah, I didn't think it would be good either. It was
No.
really good.
You was like, oh, let's watch Challengers. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
But no, it was a really good movie, and I had a lot of fun reviewing it.
It makes me want to play tennis. Go play tennis, guys. Everyone should play tennis. It's a lot of fun. Thank you so much again for listening, for watching.
Yes. Watching the Watch That Jawn podcast.
Yeah. So hopefully we'll be able to do more videos like this.
We will. It won't be every episode. But when
Hell no, because we don't have a stable video editor yet. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when we get in person, we'll definitely try to do some video episodes. So
if James don't get blown away by a NATO.
So thank you for watching this episode of Watch That Jawn podcast. You can follow us on Instagram at Watch That Jawn. This is going to be on a Watch That Jawn YouTube channel. And obviously, we're going to drop the audio on wherever you get your podcasts. So thank you very much for listening and have a good night.
Bye.